Hey YouTube, Andrew here, and I'm about to showcase you all my my third updated profile for Synchrons. So, based on my performance with this build, it's rather more consistent than it's ever been, really. And before I switched to this build, I haven't seen as many opportunities with my older builds as I am with my current one. And once I showcase the profile, I think y'all will see why. Let's get on to it, shall we? Starting off for monsters, we have three of, in my opinion, the best card in the main deck, Junk Synchron. He is your main go-to searcher, and he's your biggest chance for getting into Junk Speeder. Next up, 3 Junk Converter, best searcher in the deck in my opinion. Next up, 3 Doppel Warrior. Two Stardust Synchron. Yes, I still play 2 of it. 2's all you really need. 3 can get a little at times. But I'd still rather run 3 than 1. 3 Jet Synchron. The second best card in this deck in my opinion, because it helps with graveyard filtering and and it has 2 different effects that are just really convenient to have. 1 Destro. I used to run a proxy build that had 3, but I only think the card's really good to have at 1. I used to think it was mandatory to have a card as a 3 of playset, but I've ended up coming to realize that the card's not as good as I originally thought it was. It's a very iffy card. Like, in my opinion, this card's pretty good for the deck. It just comes up in you only really need it for situations that come up for it. 2 Askataster Dawnwalker. I used to run this card at 3, but I've ended up coming to realize that the card's just better at 2. 3 can get a little bricky. Biggest reason I run 2 of it is because I want to see the card for situations that I need it in. But overall, it's a decent card for the deck, because you can go into Stardust and Red Dragon Archfiend with it. 1 copy of Fire Rat. Only reason it's there is because you can summon it from Dawnwalker's effect. 2 Boost Warrior. Free Summoner if you have a tuner on board. 1 Stardust Trial. 1 Caligo Crow. 1 Necro Synchron. 1 copy of a card that I think is a very convenient tech to run in this deck, Satellite Synchron. 1 Flare Synchron. 1 Cyber Synchron. In my opinion, this is definitely the most protective card for monsters you have in your extra monster zone. And now for the hand traps. 3 Ash, 2 Ghost Ogre. In my opinion, these are the 2 best hand traps you want to main in this format, and Veiler's not as good as it once was. Plus, Impermanence is just a much better card, if not an infinitely better one, in my opinion. I didn't run Ash in any of my previous Synchron builds, but I'm starting to in this one, and it's helping a lot. 1 copy of Stardust Illumination. Foolish Burial for Stardust Synchron and Trial. Speaking of Foolish Burial, one copy of The Real Thing, one Rhoda, 3 Tuning, 2 Synchro Overdrive, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Change of Heart, 1 Called by the Grave, and finally Pot of Avarice. I'm not gonna lie, despite that no other Synchron build I've seen uses this card, I actually love it in Synchrons. Like, it's always just, I've always drawn it at situations that really help, and it very rarely ever got hand trapped. Like, I love this card in Synchrons. I just love it. And I don't see myself playing the deck without the 1 copy of it that I run. Now for my side deck. 2 Nibiru, 1 Droll and Lockburn, 1 DD Crow, 1 Regeki, 2 Chalice. As you can see, this is pretty much the same side deck as my Red Dragon Archfiend side deck, but with little differences. 2 Twin Twisters. Eventually will get Feather Duster. 3 D Barrier. And here comes the cards that 1 Starlight Road. And here are 2 cards I main in Red Dragon Archfiend, but side in Synchrons. 2 Solemn Strike. I don't play Judgment in the deck because even though Judgment's more effective of a card overall, this Solemn Strike has less of a cost, and with this deck you kind of want to have as much life points as you can manage to protect. And now for the extra deck. 1 Double Star Shaman, 1 Metal Marcher, 1 Herald of the Arclight, 1 Excel Synchron, 1 Junk Warrior, 1 Hyper Librarian, 1 Charge Warrior, 1 Speeder, 1 Dawn Dragster, and 1 copy of a card that I kind of regret not using in my older builds that I run in my current one. 1 Stardust Dragon. I regret using it in my older builds because 1, it's my favorite card in the whole game, and 2, because I used to use Omega Lord before switching to Stardust, and the only use Omega Lord ever really had was sniping hand traps. Other than that, I just never saw the point in using the card. Plus, there's no guarantee you'll be able to snipe them anyway. And one of my other reasons for using Stardust Dragon is because I run Shooting Star in this build. And I've ran into situations to where I could have Synchro Summoned Shooting Star and survived with it, but just didn't get to summon it. 2 copies of Starlight Red. Next up, the Red Dragon Archfiends. In my opinion, these are the only 2 Red Dragon Archfiends you really need in this deck, and I think having him specifically is just really convenient to have as an extra deck card. And he's the only decent level 8 synchro that I think you really need for Synchrons for as long as that one Chaos Dragon Synchro's banned. One Crystal Wing. One of the reasons I don't run Omega Lord anymore, because Crystal Wing's just a better card overall, in my opinion. One Shooting Star, and finally one Quasar. Biggest reason I run Shooting Star is because of Quasar, and partially because of the number of opportunities I see getting to Synchro Summon this guy. I've used Blazar in older builds, but I have more satisfying experience with Quasar. Plus, unlike Blazar, you don't have to banish Quasar. Like, you can negate cards and still have this guy on the board. Like, I overall actually think that Blazar's a better card. I just think Quasar is more consistent of a card. And I see more opportunities playing consistently with Synchrons than I do taking chances when it comes to this deck. Thank you for watching, everyone. I really appreciate you all taking time to watch my videos, and I hope you all enjoyed them. Once again, please like and subscribe for more content, and have a blessed day, everyone. See you later.